I'm Kelly Kunkel, a plastic surgeon in Fort Worth, Texas. Let's talk about breast implant profiles. These are all Allergan Natrel sample breast implants. You can read right there, it says not for implant. They're all 400cc breast implants, and they represent some of the profiles that Allergan Natrel offer. The implant on the left is a moderate profile breast implant. It's a little wider than the other two. The implant on the right is a high profile breast implant, and the one in between is typically called a moderate plus profile breast implant. They're all the same volume, they're all 400 cc's, but the look a woman would get would be very different depending on which of those implants she chose. So how do we choose? How do we choose which implant to put in which person? We wouldn't want to put the same implant in each of these women. That wouldn't be right. Each woman has her own expectations, desires. Each woman has different history. Maybe somebody's had a couple kids, maybe somebody's never had any kids. Maybe somebody wants the result to be really obvious, maybe not. But those things are really important. How do we decide? Typically, it starts with a measurement. Typically, we measure about how wide the breast is. We call that the footprint of the breast. And in most cases, we want to pick an implant that's about as wide as the breast is. So suppose a woman came in to me and said, I want a 400cc breast implant. Well, she'd get a different look depending on which of these profiles she chose. We might choose, let's say, a moderate profile breast implant as shown here, and that would be about the width of her breast. Might give her a little more height. She might choose a moderate plus profile breast implant. You can see that would be a little narrower, that would be a little less tall, but it would give her a little more front to back dimension than the moderate profile implant. We could choose a high profile breast implant, 400 cc's. Now that would certainly be narrower and less tall than the moderate or moderate plus profiles. She would get a lot more front to back dimension with that implant. Now, in this case, I wouldn't choose a 400cc high profile breast implant for her because it'd be too narrow. She wouldn't get the cleavage she wants. She wouldn't get the height that she wants. If she wanted it to be a really large and noticeable result, then I might choose a moderate plus or a high profile implant that's as wide as the breast is. But in that case, now we'd be transitioning from a 400cc implant to a 500 or 600cc breast implant, and personally, that would be a disaster on this patient. I would never put that size implant in this patient. But that's an example of how we think about breasts and think about which profile breast implant to offer to somebody. That's how we think about profiles of breast implants. Moderate, moderate plus, and high. High profile implants, people kind of confuse that. They think of those implants as giving more height to the breast when in reality, for the same volume as you can see with these implants, it's going to give you less height and less width, but a lot more front to back dimension. When we talk about high profile, we're talking about high projection, more front to back dimension. We're not talking about height, actually. Kind of confusing, but that's how that works. If you've been thinking about breast augmentation, we'd sure love to see you in our office here in Fort Worth. In Fort Worth, keeping it beautiful. I'm Kelly Kunkel.